So, people are not happy with the Avatar: Way of Water, and no, it's not because it's a bad movie. In fact, I'd say it's actually a pretty decent movie, but it's because it is blue face and somehow racist. Yeah, let's just say this is another case of Twitter being Twitter. By the way, if you guys want to know how to grow fast on YouTube, I highly recommend using my partner, vidIQ. vidIQ is basically a browser extension that gives you access to a bunch of back-end statistics on YouTube, and they have a lot of very helpful tools that you can use to grow your channel. I myself have been using vidIQ over the last couple years, and right now they're actually running a promotion. You can get vidIQ for just $1 a month, and also by signing up, you actually help out my channel. Now, if you guys don't know, the original Avatar is actually the highest grossing movie of all time, which is honestly kind of surprising because the movie's just kind of forgettable. It doesn't really have the best plot. I mean, it's not a bad movie, but it's not a great movie. Definitely not worthy of being the highest grossing movie of all time. Although the one thing that the original Avatar did great was the visuals, and it was one of the first movies I'm pretty sure to come out in 3D. So when James Cameron announced that he would be making like 4 more of these Avatar movies, most people just kind of clowned on him. They thought no one's gonna want to see that. No one cares. Avatar? Like, what are you talking about? No one's gonna watch that. But I will say, as someone who went to the theater to watch the new Avatar movie, I was actually surprised. It was a really good movie. Of course, it was very visually pleasing. This is probably one of the best looking movies of all time. It's absolutely beautiful. And this movie improved greatly on the characters from the last movie. I thought it was a great movie. And although it's not exactly hitting James Cameron's like predictions for the box office, I mean, the fact that it hit like 500,000 in a week is still pretty impressive considering it's Avatar. Like, everyone on Twitter was saying that they weren't gonna watch this movie. Everyone on Twitter just kind of hated this movie. But it's safe to say that a lot of moviegoers like this movie. Now, the last thing that I expected to see from the people on Twitter was them somehow finding a way to be outraged by this movie. Because I watched the movie, right? I didn't see anything offensive. And in fact, it actually has kind of like a progressive like message. I mean, Avatar has kind of always had like an anti-war like and an anti-imperialist like colonizer message, right? The humans in the Avatar franchise, they are the bad guys, okay? They are the people who are trying to take over this native land for themselves. They're the bad guys. That's kind of the message behind the entire movie. But according to the people on Twitter, this movie is somehow racist. Do not watch Avatar: The Way of Water. Join natives and other indigenous groups around the world in boycotting this horrible and racist film. Our cultures were appropriated in a harmful manner to satisfy some white man savior complex. No more blueface. Lakota people are powerful. And this tweet has over 46,000 likes, so this is a sentiment shared by a lot of people. Boycott Avatar: Way of Water. Join thousands of Native Americans and other indigenous groups whose cultures were harmfully appropriated to create James Cameron's anti-indigenous film, as well as standing up to his anti-indigenous rhetoric. Now, first of all, I just want to say I have no idea how they got that from this movie, because like I said, the Na'vi, who are the race of blue people in the movie, they're the good guys, right? They are the people that you are rooting for. So how is this movie like anti-indigenous? How is it pushing an anti-indigenous message? Like, I get that maybe the aliens in this film were definitely inspired by like Native Americans and Native American culture, because I mean, as humans, there's only like a certain amount of like cultures and stuff that we can draw from to create our characters out of. But I don't really understand how simply doing that, how drawing inspiration from a group of people is somehow racist or cultural appropriation. Like, were they just supposed to like make the Na'vi like, I don't know, like British people or something? Is that who they were supposed to be inspired by? Because I mean, clearly that's who the humans are inspired by. Like, they're the bad guys in the story. So like, again, I really don't understand what they want here. James Cameron's anti-indigenous statement on the Lakota. I felt like I was 130 years back in time watching what the Lakota Sioux might have been saying at a point when they were being pushed and they were being killed, and they were being asked to displace, and they were being given some form of compensation, he said. This was a driving force for me in the writing of Avatar. I couldn't help but think that if they, the Lakota, had a time window and they could see the future, that they would see their kids committing suicide at the highest suicide rates in the nation because they were hopeless and they were a dead-end society, which is what is happening now. They would have fought a lot harder. Now, I'll admit that that's like a pretty yikesy statement from James Cameron. I have no idea the context of that or why exactly he said that. Bit messed up that he said that. However, that still doesn't really change the message of the movie, and it really shouldn't affect the movie or people's enjoyment of the movie. Blue face characters are played by a non-indigenous person. James Cameron is guilty of favoring non-indigenous folks to play Na'vi, an alien race based on many indigenous cultures he appropriated from. This is a form of racist caricature known as blueface, coined after his infamous film in 2009 Avatar, where a creator appropriates many non-white cultures, blends them together indiscriminately or blatantly, and has white people play or voice them using fiction as a medium to necessitate and validate their world building. It is a combination of red face, black face, yellow face, and other racist tools creators use to justify not centering or validating the experiences, voices, faces, and bodies of black, indigenous, and other marginalized people of color. So I didn't even know this, but apparently they created a whole term out of the first Avatar movie called blueface. Like, here I was just thinking that these were like cool blue aliens, but apparently this is like racist or something. Is Star Wars racist? Because they got some blue aliens too. Honestly, wouldn't it be more racist to cast like indigenous people as aliens, like as blue people, being like, okay guys, we got these blue alien people. Of course, we're gonna need Native Americans to play them because, you know, they're similar, I guess. Like, doesn't that come off as more racist? I just find this incredibly stupid. Like, how is this like a movement? Like, why are people actually offended by this? I really don't understand it. It literally makes no sense to me. The entire point of the films are to comment on the horrific destruction of native cultures because of colonization and the destruction of land because of greed. Was that point just completely missed? And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, that is the entire point of the film. It's not like glorifying what happened to natives or anything. It's actually the opposite. So I really don't understand the argument for racism here. Funny thing is, the Na'vi are portrayed as noble people that just want to live in peace. The big bad humans are the ones trying to destroy that. Their white saviors realizes how wrong his people's ways are and joins them. Seems pretty pro-Na'vi if you ask me. Journalists calling Avatar 2 racist for not casting black people only as Na'vi don't see the irony in seeing blue people in a fantasy movie throwing spears, and they're like, wow, it's just the blacks. How inspiring. Journalists are the most racist people on the planet. And yeah, and speaking of like journalists, there's like a lot of these sites posting articles slamming Avatar 2 for being racist because they didn't cast like people of color as the Na'vi, which I really don't understand that. Like, the whole point of like being an actor is you play characters that aren't yourself. So like, I don't know. I just find this argument incredibly stupid, you know? Anyway, these are just my thoughts on this entire situation. If you guys have enjoyed, you should hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, you, the one watching this right now. Click this video, I promise, it's amazing.